Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Mehdi Al Mahmoud from Dolos Academy. I am a professional web developer and today we are going to learn CSS animations. Before we get started, make sure to drop a like and hit subscribe and turn on the bell icon for more notifications. CSS animations is a module by CSS that allows us to animate HTML elements using CSS styling. They allows us to create multi-step transitions using keyframe syntax. So let's open VS Code and let's get started. So now we have opened VS Code and the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to open an HTML file. So I'm just going to create an HTML file and I have named it index, and now I'm just going to insert some basic HTML key tags. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a CSS file and then I'm going to link it with my HTML file. So I'm going to create a CSS file which I have named style.css and I'm going to link it with my HTML file. So to do that I have to use link tag and then I have to just write the file name. That's it. Okay, so now we have linked the CSS file with our HTML file. So now let's create a div and I'm just going to add a class to it named as box, and I'm going to add some styling to this box class. I'm just going to add some height of 300 pixels, a width of 300 pixels, and a color, I guess background color, maybe some light coral. Okay. So the next thing we will see is how to animate this box. Okay, so as you can see that the stylings we have added to our div right here, it has appeared and we can see it on the right side of the screen. So now what we are going to do is we are going to add animations. So let's check our CSS file, and to do animations, first thing that we need to do is we need to add an animation name. So I'm just going to write animation-name and I'm just going to write anything here. Basically it's just an animation name and you can give whatever you want. So I'm just going to enter animation and I have saved it. So the next thing I need to enter is animation duration. Now animation duration determines the amount of time your animation will run. So now let's add it. Now the animation duration is usually measured in milliseconds or seconds. So I'm just going to use seconds and I'm just going to give 5 seconds. So that's it. We have added animation duration. The next thing we need to learn about is the keyframe rule. Inside our keyframes, we need to add the changes we want in our animation to take place. So to do that, we need to first write @keyframes and then we need to enter our animation name. So I'm just going to write animation and I'm just going to give curly brackets and I'm just going to write from, then I'm again going to give curly brackets. Then I'm going to insert a background color which is light coral, and then I'm going to insert 2 and I'm going to give again curly brackets and I'm just going to give background color and I'm just going to give light cyan. Okay, so I've saved it. Now I can see on the right side of the screen the color of my div has changed and it took it 5 seconds to change its color. So now this is the keyframe rule and this is the syntax on how we add animation in our CSS to our HTML elements. Okay, so we have learned on how to make a very basic animation. Now let's learn about some other functionalities that we can apply to our animation. So we are going to learn about animation delay. Now what is animation delay? It basically delays the time when our animation will start. Now if I give an animation delay of 3 seconds, my animation will start after 3 seconds. Like you can see, it took 3 seconds to start the animation and after that the animation is now complete. So this is animation delay, and now let's move on to our next step. So the next thing we will learn is animation iteration count. Basically it defines the amount of time my animation will run. For example, if I say animation iteration count 3, that means my animation will run 3 times. Now first let me remove this duration as it's going to take up much time, and just let me reduce it to 2 seconds. And now let me refresh it. So that's my first one, second one, and that's the third time this animation has run and now it has stopped. So this is what animation iteration count stands for. Now we are going to learn about animation direction. Now animation direction decides whether our animation will play forwards or in reverse. Now let's check it out. So to do that, I'm just going to write animation direction, and I'm just using reverse first to make you guys understand. And let's check on the right side of the screen. Let me hit refresh. You can see that instead of starting from light coral and then traveling to light cyan, my animation starts from light cyan and then it ends up in light coral. That means my animation has reversed. Now forwards is basically the default, the normal version of my animation, which means from light coral to light cyan. Now there are two more versions of this. One is alternate and another one is alternate reverse. So first, let's check out what alternate means. Now alternate means my animation will first go forwards, and after the animation has ended, then it will run backwards. To simply show that, let me just write alternate, and also that means my animation will run 2 times, so I need to change my iteration count to 2. Otherwise this alternate function does not work. So let me refresh it. So now from light coral it goes to light cyan, and then from light cyan to back to light coral. And now alternate reverse is just basically the opposite. It means it will go from light cyan to light coral, and then from light cyan to light coral. So in alternate reverse, the animation starts in light cyan, and in alternate the animation starts in light coral. Okay, so now we are going to be learning about the speed curve of an animation. Now to do that, first thing and the first and foremost thing we will need to do is we need to insert a property known as animation timing function. And now you can see that there are many different options available. Example, ease in and out, ease out, and linear. Now we will apply them one by one, and now to show you guys the difference, the first thing we need to do is we need to add some other boxes as well. I'm just going to add like 2 more extra boxes. So I'm just going to name this box 1 and box 3, and I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to, and here will be box 2. But the difference is that I'm just going to add a different animation function. The first one will be ease, then the next one will be ease out, and the last one will be linear. And also I'm just going to change the animation type, be transform translate y, let's say 50%. No wait, it's supposed to be x, my bad. So first it will be 0, then it will be 50%. Okay. Now you can see that one of my animations starts early and the other starts late. Wait, I need to also add this property here, here, and here. Now you can see that one of my animations starts first, this one starts first, and then this one. Like, these are the timing functions. An animation will either start first, but they will end at the same number of duration, but one of them will like move faster and the other one will move slower. So now there are many various timing functions. There are ease in and out, and there is linear. You can try all of them out on your own. So now we are going to learn about animation fill mode and what is it. So after an animation ends, we often see that it returns back to its previous state, which is this property which I have defined before. But we can change that using animation fill mode. For example, our animation here ends in light cyan, but after the animation ends, it just switches back to light coral once again. So to stop it from doing that, what we can do is we can just use animation fill mode, and we can use forwards. Now here you can see the animation has started and it just ends in cyan. It does not change back to light coral. And if we use backwards, the opposite happens. It will end in light coral, which means that it will pick up the property from the first keyframe. After the animation ends, the styling to an element will be decided from the first keyframe. This is what backwards mean, and forwards means exactly the opposite. Now this is animation fill mode. Okay, wait, let me just keep it on forwards. So now these are all the properties of animation. The next thing we will learn is how to add more and extra keyframes. For example, instead of using from and to, we can also use percentages. We can write 0% and curly brackets, then we can write 50% and then curly brackets, then we can write 100% and curly brackets. Now if I add here background color, let's say red, then I'm just going to add here background color blue, and then I'm just going to add the background color green. So now it turns. So as you can see, I have added 3 colors, and from 0% to 50% it's red, and then from 50% to 100% it's blue, and then it turns green. And I'm also going to change it to red, otherwise it looks bad. Yeah. So there you go. Now this is another way you can determine the timeline or timestamp of your animation, and that is all CSS animation is about. The rest depends on your creativity and how you can utilize it. This is all CSS animations is about, and make sure to subscribe and check out my next video, which will be dropping pretty soon. And I hope you guys like it, and that's it for today.